Hi, welcome to another one of my videos. This is a project which I completed and which was in my display cabinet, and I thought maybe I should just share this with you. Some thoughts about the model, but also about some of the building issues that I faced and what I had to do to resolve them. Okay, so the kit in question is not a very new model. It's the Academy 135th scale M3A1 US light tank. Now, it's a very nice, attractive subject matter, to be honest, and it's been kitted before by Tamiya. I particularly liked this one because it shows it's a later version. The M3A1 has got a flat turret roof, doesn't have that raised cupola for the commander, and it has a double hatch. Right, and interestingly enough, the hatch doors are exactly the same shape as the previous one for the cupola, but they just rearranged it so it looks like two ears sticking up. Um, the kit is interesting because it comes with a full interior. Well, full interior for the fighting compartment and the driving compartment, but not for the engine compartment, which is fine. I decided that I would button up the turret and but leave the driver's hatches open. So let me just show you what that looks like. So if you look inside, you will see the interior, and it comes with the fairly complete actually driver station, gunner radio operator station, a turret basket, um, and the ready round racks and the rear firewall for the engine. Okay, so fairly complete. I'm not going to try and remove the turret because I think it's stuck. But if I'm towards the end of this video, if I can, I'll just give it a shot and see what happens. Okay. Now you can see some interesting features of this kit. It comes with the jettisonable fuel tanks. Okay. Straight off in the kit itself, and markings for, and this is the interesting part, markings for a vehicle that was used in Operation Torch. Okay, and this is a very well documented vehicle. If you go onto the internet, you will look for it. You will find that there are lots and lots of pictures of this particular vehicle, this particular marked tank. Okay. Now, I did not finish this kit out of the box, and this is where I will start talking about a few of the issues that you will find in this kit. When I say issues, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and buy this kit, obviously. It's more a question of this is something that you need to be aware of, and then how I fixed it. You could find another way of fixing it. I found this method to fix it. Okay. Now, looking at the model, okay, not really that noticeable, but in actual fact, the Academy kit is 2 millimeters short. And that's the bad news. The good news is that the 2 millimeters is actually in the lower hull. Okay, so if you can see underneath there right now, you can see where the upper hull joins with the lower hull, right? So the 2 millimeters needs to be added there. The 2 millimeters needs to be added at the front end, which is where the glacis is. This lower glacis here, this thing where my thumb is trying to rub on, and that portion up there needs another 2 millimeters. Okay, and of course the rear, this portion right up here, needs another 2 millimeters. So it's 2 millimeters all around. Not forgetting that, and if you can see that right there, there is a joining plate, a strip of metal that was on the original vehicle, and it's got a whole bunch of rivets. Okay, now Academy does supply that molded on, but obviously it's in the wrong place now. It's 2 millimeters too short, so it has to be removed. Okay. Now that's the big major modification that needs to be done, correction that needs to be done. Second major modification that needs to be done are the jettisonable fuel tanks. Now, as supplied in the kit, there are just two pads provided on both sides. The tanks are just glued onto that, and that's it. But in truth, the tanks did not just rest on pads, they rested on what I would call almost like trestles. And as you can see here, they have a slight angle, a slope outwards. Okay, I hope you can see that. Maybe from the back. Okay, and what that means is that that's how they were jettisonable. From the inside, you pulled a lever. Okay, it actuated the release cable, and then the tanks would roll. The right hand side one will roll off to the right, and the left hand side one will roll off to the left. Added detail was also the straps on the top. Okay, as you can see, right? So what I had to do was I had to scratch build new trestles for the fuel tanks, and I also had to add on the strips, these little handle things, using foil, lead foil from a wine bottle. Very enjoyable way of getting your spare parts. And I also had, if you can see that, where the catches are, for want of a better word, right? Those raised points down there are actually supposed to be straps, okay? And the straps have got buckles at the end. The buckles are provided by Academy, but they need to be connected to the release catches on the hull, okay? And the release catches are provided as well. So all you need to do is just provide a small bit of simulated wire, which I did using stretch sprue, but you could also use real wire as well. Okay, to depict that front and back, both sides. So then effectively what you've done, or what I've done, is you've got your fuel tank, you've got the trestles, and then you've got the straps, and then you've got the catches. So when you release the catch on the inside is released. It forces the tank to roll off. So that's the idea behind it. Okay, so that's the second major thing that you need to fix. Okay, apart from that, the third thing, which could be considered as major, I suppose, depending on how you look at it, is the decals. You see, the decals as supplied, marked are for this vehicle, right? And they're generally accurate. Well, the problem, as you can see, is if you look at the USA, there's a bit of decal shift. All right, I don't know how to fix that. I suppose I could use paint and touch it up. Okay, but I just left it, and I just said, you know what, fine. This is how they painted it, hoping that it would look nice or something. I'm not sure. From what I can see from reference pictures, I think it was a solid color. There was no two-tone, but I left it as it is. The one that stands out to be corrected, though, is the flag. You see, the flag that is supplied in the Academy kit is a US flag, but it is for 50 states. Whereas at this time, in 1942, 43, there were only 48 states. So I need to find and source a US flag with 48 stars. And after hunting high and low on the internet, you can find them. Question is whether or not they're the correct size. I sourced my flags from the Tamiya M3 Lee kit. Okay, the M3 Lee kit is also depicting a vehicle around that period, and it has the 48 star US flag. So I had a couple of those kits in my stash, thank goodness, and I took the decals, the flag decals from there, and used them. Okay, it took a bit of convincing, persuading to get them off the decal sheet, but it worked in the end. Okay, so how did I fix the lower hull? Let's come back to that one, okay, because it's the big piece. To fix the lower hull, I had to use plastic strip all around the edge here to raise it up by 2 millimeters. Okay, and I found a bit of evergreen strip, which was exactly the thickness of the lower hull, and was a 2 millimeter strip. Okay, so if you look for a 2 millimeter strip from evergreen plastics, you will get the exact piece that you need. Okay, so that's the first part of the solution. Now the second part of the solution is that you need to replace that glacis. Okay, you can't just simply slap 2 millimeters on top and hope that it works. As you can see, there's a lip down there, and there's of course the bulge. Okay, and because Academy had supplied the whole glacis as 2 millimeters short, everything was squashed, so you really can't use it. It has to be scrapped. Another problem is that the glacis is molded together with the lower hull. Okay, so you have to actually cut it off, and that of course destroys it, so you need to replace it. How to replace it? And the answer is AFV Club. AFV Club does an upgrade set for their M5 range, right? But the M5 range upgrade set will also apply to the M3. So it's an M3 M5 upgrade set, and thankfully the M3A3, which is the kit that AFV Club manufactures, uses broadly the same lower hull as the M3A1. Okay, they're part of the M3 series now. So they supply that update kit, and the update kit, or the correction kit if you prefer, can be used to improve the Tamiya kit, because you replace the tracks, right? And it can also be used to improve the Academy kit in two aspects. One, it comes with the lower glacis plate. Okay. Two, it comes with a spare back plate, which already has the corrected 2 millimeter height. So all we need to do is just glue it in, and it's a perfect drop-in fit. Okay. And three, something which I have not mentioned yet, is the wheels. You see, Academy, as they supply in their kit, the wheels are slightly off in shape. If you look carefully at the a real M3, the wheels, the holes, are not, well, they have got those little curves. Can you see them? They are rounded. It's not a squared off or sharp triangle. It's actually rounded off corners. AFV Club has it exactly correct. So from the AFV Club correction set, you will need basically the wheels. You will need the lower glacis plate and the back plate. You could conceivably use the entire assembly which is supplied in the AFV Club set to replace everything, but I didn't think that was necessary, so I just replaced the wheels, and I replaced the road wheels, and I replaced the lower glacis plates, which thankfully was a separate piece. So the result was that I just cut off the Academy piece, cleaned up the area, offered up the AFV Club piece, and then managed to get it to work. Okay, so there you are. Modifications done. Excuse me. Modifications done. And that's how it would look. Okay. I hope this was helpful. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again.